Hey guys, this week I'm going to be giving you a little tutorial on how to water your plants. Hey guys, it's Emily, and this week I'm going to talk about watering, one of the most important parts of plant care, but also the trickiest. So there is a lot that goes into watering. How much or how often you need to water a plant depends on a lot of things, like the humidity of your house, the sunlight it's placed in, the soil it's in, the specific kind of plant, and even the pot that it's in terms of like, even just if it's plastic or terracotta or what size of pot it's in. So there is a lot that goes into it, but just for the basics, you can tell if a plant is underwatered typically by drooping or wilting leaves. If it's a succulent type variety or something with a very thick and waxy leaf, you might even see visible wrinkles on it, or even just really, really crispy edges. So that would be more of like a blackened crisp, or crisp entire leaves or dead new growth are all signs that you might be underwatering the plant. When it comes to overwatering, things that you would want to look for that would indicate that would be a yellowing of the leaves, any sort of really mushy feeling leaves, or even like rotting leaves. And again, it could also just be some sort of drooping or wilting. As a general rule of thumb for plants, a plant with a thick and waxy leaf, like a peperomia for example, can hold a lot more water and typically need to be watered less frequently. And a plant with a thinner, leafier foliage, like this palm here, they'll dry out quicker and they need to be watered a little bit more frequently. When you water a plant, one thing that is important is the temperature of your water. You should be using water that is comfortable for you to touch. So slightly warm or room temperature water. If you're watering with just very, very cold water, you actually can shock the plant quite badly and end up with some cold damage on your leaves. When you go to water your plant, you should be watering it thoroughly every time. So you should be waiting until your plant dries out the appropriate amount, whether that be, letting the top 2 inches dry out, letting the plant dry out completely, and then you give it a thorough watering. One way that's really easy to check a plant's moisture is using a moisture meter. So these are the ones that we have in store here. This is an older one that I'm going to be using for a demo. It is a really good starting point if you haven't had plants before, or if you're newer to this specific plant. This is a good way to kind of get down a routine for it. So you typically want to insert about 2/3 into your pot. So for this guy here, which I've let dry out, you can see it will read as quite dry. And as for a plant that I've just watered, if you put that guy in, it should read as really wet. So I find that this is particularly helpful for plants in bigger pots. Usually I just use my finger to check 2 inches down, but if you're getting into like bigger pots and you have small hands, you might want to use a moisture meter. So for this guy, which is in a bigger pot, put that guy in until about 2/3 down, and then you can see it's time to water this guy. So for actual watering, if you have a pot with drainage holes, what you want to do is, like I said, let the plant dry out the appropriate amount and then thoroughly water it. So I'm going to water this guy here, and you're going to want to water it until you actually see water coming out of the bottom of the drainage holes. So you can give it a nice thorough watering there. And then just let it soak down, and water should start running out of the bottom here. That's when you know that you've thoroughly soaked the plant, and that's what you should be doing every time that you water. For plants that are planted in a pot and they don't have a drainage hole, I do recommend that you leave it in the nursery pot for a couple weeks when you bring it home, just so that you can tell how much water it needs. But if you're planting it into something without a drainage hole, what you want to do is you can put some leca at the bottom. So we already have a video detailing how to use this and what it's good for, but basically it just soaks up excess moisture to prevent root rot on your plants. So the biggest thing about watering is you just have to do that thorough soak. If you're just giving it a little bit of water every couple days, it doesn't do anything for the plant. All it's doing is wetting the dirt. You need to soak the soil until roots can actually draw out that excess moisture and take that big drink that they need. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I'll see you in the next one.